One second. Oh, there. Welcome back to Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. I am so thrilled to welcome back for her first time on this podcast, but the second time we're actually interviewing, and actually the first time we're actually speaking to each other. She is a Spotify verified artist with over, as of this recording, 120,000 followers on Instagram and 590,000 followers on Instagram. She's also a culture ambassador for the U.S. State Department, and she's also was named Pollstar as one of the top 25 live streamers of 2021. Please help me welcome Jessica Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, Jessica, it's so great to finally meet you.
Same here. Really, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So, guys, Jessica and I have interviewed each other before, but we corresponded back in 2017. So it's been 4 years since we last spoke. So, Jessica, how have you grown as a musician since the last time we corresponded?
Oh, it's a lot. We started internationally touring in 2016. So since then, I've been to over 15 countries around the globe playing music, and had a top 40 single on country radio. We had a top 10 album this week on iTunes. So a lot of really exciting stuff is happening.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear about that. We'll get to that album in a second. So how has your songwriting evolved over the past 4 years?
Oh, man. I think life just happens and it inspires you. And every show that we play inspires me. And it shapes who you are as an artist and a performer and as a songwriter. So I think it's just gotten a lot more mature and a lot more in-depth since the last time we spoke.
Awesome. So what I love about Jessica, everybody, is that she has had the opportunity to work with to open for a lot of country names, just Brad Paisley, Keith Urban, and ZZ Top. So what were some of the lessons that you learned from them that helped you grow as a performer?
I think just being in that atmosphere with like the real superstar pros and seeing how their crews work and how their catering works and everything, seeing the logistics really are what I really took away from it, how much it really takes to have an act of that size on the road. And of course, you just learn different things that help you with your own touring and your own logistical things. And also just watching their live shows from such close proximity right backstage is also really cool to kind of see the workings of everything.
I miss live music so much, and the ability to watch it so much, because the thing is, there's a magic about live performance.
I agree. I really hope that we're totally up and running again soon.
Awesome. So what have been some of the challenges, speaking of live performances and like not having a year without them? So what have been some of the challenges that you faced during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, staying motivated. When we lost a world tour this year and last year, 100 different dates in 14 different countries. And it was a very, very hard hit. And I struggled with knowing what to do next, how to keep growing with no money coming in, how to keep growing without being able to tour in support of your releases. And it was like almost learning how to do everything from scratch in a way. But I did find that by really putting my mindset and being determined, like a positive mindset behind everything, that I was able to turn to live streaming, do content, find different ways to do music videos and things like that. And my career actually grew probably more than it ever has in the last year and a half because I was creative.
And what I love I love the live streaming shows. It was great to see all these different people, like all these different musicians in their own element and being able to do that. So, and I connected a lot as a fan with that. So did you notice any fan interaction increase because of your live streaming?
Definitely. To be a top 25 live streamer on the internet, that I still don't feel like that's real. I still feel like I'm lying when I say that. But really, there were like 60,000 to 100,000 people a week watching me sit in my living room, and it was insane to think about. And I got to know my fans on a much different level. When you do like a live show, you see them after the show, and it's my favorite part of the whole night. Like, hi, I'm Jessica. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. What was your favorite song? Type of thing. But when you are talking like this with them and you get to really chat. I've gotten to know them in such a better way. I feel very close to them. And they were actually a very huge part of creating this new EP that I just put out that did really well on the charts this week. So it's we've created a very special bond, I think, over this last year and a half.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear about the fan interaction because I miss like taking photos and also getting to know them, like and listening to that live interaction. So I'm so happy to hear about that you're able to bond with them and build and strengthen those relationships and even exponentially expand them.
It was my favorite part of the whole pandemic, honestly.
Awesome. So I just listened to Reimagine and wow, 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 wow. I don't know how many wows can I say, wow to infinity. It's those, I would love to hear how you approach this extended play. And can you describe that to my audience?
Thank you so much, first of all. But so it kind of came out of nowhere. When I was doing these live streams, I was doing just the regular Facebook, Instagram thing. And, after like a year of doing that, I was like, I really need to come up with something that's like a fresh thing. How many times can they watch me play Roadhouse and Now or Never? And as long as they know for me, like I need to do something different. So I had the idea to do a piano bar style live stream. Piano is actually my main instrument, but I don't play it often in the show because it's a lot easier. My live show is just very guitar driven, and I also play guitar. So I had the idea to do a piano bar style live stream where they can request anything in the moment. So I started doing these streams where they literally would write like, play Somebody to Love by Queen, and I'd have to try it right on the spot. No rehearsal, no nothing. Try Billy Joel, Piano Man, try Christina Aguilera, do Britney Spears, do this, do that, do that. And it pushed me so much as a musician. We're still doing them, the live streams, because they've become such a part of like who I am and how I am with my fans. And they're very special to me. And it pushed me in ways I never thought I could be pushed. Singing notes I never knew I could sing, playing chords I never knew before because of all these different genres and things that I was forced to do pretty much. And then they started requesting different versions of my songs. So they'd be like, play Roadhouse, but make it a really sad power ballad. And on the spot, I'd have to rewrite my music. And that's how Reimagine was born. One day they said, do Not Your Woman, which is like a very sassy, bluesy rocker that I released a few years ago, as a slow power ballad. Make it really emotional. So on the spot, I literally played it. And everyone was like, you have to release that. You have to do it. I was like, maybe I actually should. So then I chose 4 songs that were very special to me and special to my fans, the ones that were very popular or had a special meaning. And that's how it was. So that's how it came out.
That's incredible. And like, by the way, when you're mentioning the covers, it reminds me like karaoke. My instant thing is like Kelly Clarkson's go-to karaoke with like she and her production crew had to learn at least that her band had to learn that song for almost 5 minutes. So I gotta say, or an hour. So good on you.
It was very fun. We had a lot of laughs. Sometimes I totally crashed and burned, but then sometimes things were amazing and it was so fun. And honestly, really, it made me a much better singer and player. So I'm very grateful.
All right, so now let's get back to Reimagine and talk about the tracks because I gotta say, Now or Never was very haunting.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite. I like them all for different reasons. It's hard to pick a favorite, but that's it's like a kind of an 80s rocker sounding song, the original. And they requested me to try it in the live stream. And then a fan actually asked to use it as their proposal song. So it was so cool to see that. And I saw that it really connected with people. And it's a song about kind of like it's now or never, like come with me. It was very cool to see how much more meaning the lyrics took on, slower, like sung like that. It was very cool.
All right, yeah, and I gotta say that proposal. So how did that? So that must have been incredible seeing your song used for a marriage proposal.
It was. They sent me a video and I teared up, and it's just very, very special. That's the reason you make music, to make a difference in people's lives and to connect with them. So it's a very special moment.
100%. So Not Your Woman is bam, that hit like a ton of bricks. That was like so impactful, so very impactful song. So how did you decide to rearrange Not Your Woman that way?
Well, again, it was kind of written on the spot. And then I wanted to rework some of the words and things like that because it's, again, it's very sassy, the original, and I wanted this to be more emotional. So I actually, when I was rewriting the words, one of my best friends recently in this last year left an abusive marriage. And I thought a lot about her and her strength. And she's actually here from a whole nother country. So it's like, she it took so much power within her to have the strength to leave, and it that story really inspired me. And when I was rewriting the song, I thought a lot about her and just how her strength and resilience, and the lyrics actually came quite easy, and I thought about that a lot while I was singing.
I hope that on behalf of my audience, I hope that she's in a better place right now. She
Thank
is in a
you.
better place of mind.
She is flourishing. She is doing the best she has ever been. I'm so proud of her.
That's so wonderful to hear. That is so wonderful to hear. All right, so let's talk about Pretty.
Pretty is my story of self-acceptance. That's I don't want to say the most honest on the record because they all are, and they're all a very big piece of me, but that is truly my story. Names of girls I thought were beautiful and wanted to look like, things I'm self-conscious about with my own body. And I think it's a really important story to tell. It's the song that's the closest to the original version, but I wanted to tell it in a more stripped back way, I guess you can say. And I did change some of the chords and some of the lyrics. And I think a song like that also just takes on a lot more meaning when it's just girl to girl or girl to another person rather than having the band playing it with me.
I agree because having that intimate moment when when it's just you and no backing band, it's very vulnerable.
Yeah, and I think that's the way that song should be, and I saw that. We don't play that song often because it's such a tender song, and we do a lot of big festivals and things like that where you got to keep the energy up, and just kind of the wrong atmosphere for a song like that a lot. But whenever we did theater shows or I did mentoring things with kids, I do a lot of that. That was always a song that we would pull out, and I would always just play it alone on the guitar. And I cannot tell you, I could never get through that song without crying because I would look out in the audience and literally see people from 6 to 66, both men and women, little girls, little boys, crying every time I did it. And then I would cry, and then it was like, wow, like we have the same story, and that is just so beautiful. And that's what I thought about when I decided to redo the song, was that I want to tell it like that, and I want people to find hope in it like that.
And I'm glad that you did that. And I know it doesn't feel, and I know you do that. And it sounds like, and hearing that, and hearing her describing that that entire thing, just it's like having a beautiful communal moment.
Yeah, it was very special to like see that happening out in the audience when I played it. And I always said, if I'm ever going to do this again, it's just going to be me alone telling the story. So I'm really happy I was able to include it.
All right, we got to talk about the last one is Run To.
That was my first pandemic single, and that song is very special to me because I really followed my gut with that release. I was very nervous to release it, as I was for Reimagined, because it was so different. Run To was kind of like Bon Jovi power ballad meets country music, I think. And I did not know if it was going to be well received. It was my first single in a while. I didn't know if people are going to be like, what is this? This doesn't sound like anything like country radio, which I've kind of proudly been wearing that badge for a while now. And that single changed my life. It was featured on CMT, Billboard, American Songwriter, did a huge write-up on it. And that taught me a lot about being yourself. I've always been myself. I've always been different. I'm an Italian New Yorker that's doing country music. But to release a song that was so different and have it so well received by people. It charted in several countries, and it was very, very special for me. And that's why I wanted to include it. And also, I feel like the story of that, the lyrics can take on many different meanings, and I really wanted them to shine through. I really saw that when I was opening for Richard Marx.
Well, that's a name. Whoa, that's a big name.
And he's one of my biggest inspirations of all time, songwriting and singing. And when I debuted Run To opening for him last year, and I did it acoustic. And after the show, I can't tell you how many people came out. I wrote it as a love story, and people at the merch table were telling me how it reminded them of a family member that had passed away. So many people. And for me, it was like, wow, this is really amazing that people can take my lyrics and make it something so special for themselves. And that was something I really thought about when I reworked it for Reimagine.
I'm glad you selected that song. I bet Mr. Marks was very impressed.
I can't believe when he came out on stage. First, it was so weird because I'm a huge fan, like huge fan. So when I was playing my set and I look over and I see him standing in the wings, like giving me a thumbs up, I was like, what is my life right now? So it was a very special moment in my career.
Awesome. So speaking of Mr. Marks, who are your dream collaborators? They could be singers, songwriters, musicians, and producer. And how would they enhance your sound, Jessica?
Sorry, can you say it one more time? It sounded like it broke up a little.
Oh, my apologies. Who are your dream collaborators? Singers, songwriters, producers, and how would they enhance your sound?
Okay, sorry about that. I've collabed with a lot of different people, a lot of different writers in Nashville. I've recorded in Nashville. I've recorded in Belgium. I've recorded in New York. So for me, I like to do the unusual. And again, it just kind of fits more with my story. Actually, my top 50 single, my first one on country radio, was recorded in Belgium and co-written there. So it's kind of cool. And I think working with all these different people just kind of plays more into my story of being unique and being a little bit different.
And that's incredible because, in all honesty, with country music now, between Lil Nas X and with you, what you're doing with all the different stuff with that, country's a lot more than it used to be like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's really cool because my biggest compliment I get after shows is I don't like country music, but I like you. And I think that's really cool that music can kind of transcend genre and barriers.
Awesome. So we got to start winding down our conversation. What are your favorite social media platforms and why do they stand out?
I like Facebook, honestly, the most, even though the young kids call it the old people platform. I guess I'm getting old, but I like it because you could do the most. You could put links, you could put videos, you could do photos. Like for me as an artist, I want to get to show people a lot of different stuff. And I find that the easiest way to connect with people.
Awesome. So I know I asked you this question 4 years ago, but I got to ask it one more time. So if you had the opportunity to meet with recording artists who are interested in advancing their careers in the music industry, what advice would you share with them?
So what advice would I give to like a starting artist?
Yes.
I would say just always be yourself. People are always going to come into your path and say, oh, well, look like this and this will help you, or sound like this and this will help you. Sounding and looking like anybody else never did anybody any good. Like you have to look at the great singer-songwriters and artists of like our time, like think about people like Freddie Mercury or, like Celine Dion or like Mariah Carey, like the superstars. They are all so unique. You hear them on the radio and you know immediately that that's who it is. We have lost that in modern music, which I think is really sad. I mean, I turn on the radio and everybody sounds the same almost. I can't tell who's who. And that's a problem for me. I don't find a lot of inspiration in modern music because it's very cookie cutter. And I think that music needs to start going back to when individuality was encouraged and celebrated. And I think it's really important to hold on to that and to make music that you want to make, and music that you're going to be proud of at the end of the day, that represents who you are and who you want to be.
Awesome. So one last question. Where can my audience find your music? That's number one. And number two, how can they connect with you?
So my music's on every digital platform: iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and my website is jessicalynmusic.org. That has links to everything, and I'm on every social media platform if you just search Jessica Lynn Music.
Awesome, guys. Now, if you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our pages on Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Just type in Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And guys, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Subscribe and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Jessica, Jake's Take is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year.
Congratulations!
Thank you so much. And you guys can read my interview with my 2017 conversation and my review takes on Jessica's music on jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. Now, if you're financially able to, please consider heading to my PayPal channel to help keep Jake's Take and my platform up and running. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I would appreciate all the support if you're financially able to. If not, a good subscription or a 5-star review on iTunes or a social media follow would be equally helpful. So thank you very much in advance. Jessica, it has been an incredible ride. I am so grateful we got to talk. Let's not wait 4 more years until we last speak with each other.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on your 10 years.
Thank you very much, Jessica. And thank you so much, everybody. Until next time, have a fantastic one. Goodbye.